As a business owner, I guarantee that either your agency or your in-house marketer is making one of these 3 mistakes in your Meta ad account right now, and I'm going to show you exactly what those 3 are, and then I'm going to show you exactly how you can fix it, where I guarantee these 3 core things that you'll want. The first one, getting more bang for your buck. Right now the cost of advertising is going up. Andromeda, the AI algorithm of Facebook, is completely messing with everyone's ads, especially when you're generating leads as a business. We're going to help you reduce your emotional investment and the chance of burning cash on no real return. And then we're also going to give you a clear path of improvement when it comes to a real specific framework that you can deploy time and time again, rather than just like chucking ads at a wall and seeing what sticks, okay? And so I bet my entire bank account right now that one of these 3 things are happening, and you're probably not doing some of the stuff I'm showing you. So let me go straight into it, okay? Number 1, and by the way, I literally just randomly searched the first business I found on Facebook library just to prove a point. You are probably using a CBO with 8 to 12 active ads at a single time, right? Now, you're like, Nathan, I don't know what a CBO is, like my marketing team did it for me. Well, that's already a mistake. It's really good to know the fundamentals of your ad before you give it to someone else to do it for you. So, let me just break it down quickly. What does a CBO mean? You have CBO and ABO. CBO is a campaign budget optimization. Your ABO is your ad budget optimization, or your ad level budget optimization. Now, what that actually means is CBO is when you disperse your advertising budget campaign level. In contrast, your ABO is when you just your budget control at the ad set level. So I'm just going to quickly draw a diagram, show what I mean, right? Let's say you have, you want to spend $200 a day, right? In a CBO, you'll have one campaign, and let's say you have, I don't know, you have one ad set, you have a bunch, to be honest, it doesn't really matter how many ad sets you have, but let's just say for the purpose of this, we're going to do like 3 campaigns. 3 ad sets. Okay, so we're going to have the ad set 1, ad set 1, ad set 2, ad set 3, and then in these ad sets, you're going to have like ads within that. So you might have 1, 2, 3, 4 ads in that ad set, 1, 2, 3, 4 ads in that ad set, and then so on and so forth, right? So now you have maybe 12 ads in 3 ad sets, 3 different ad sets in a singular campaign. So these are all feeding your campaigns. In this example, this $200 is going to get quote unquote randomly distributed to your ads within these ad sets, right? You might get $70 in here. You might get, I don't know, $100 in here, and $30 in here. Excuse my poor dollar signs. That's a CBO. Now, in theory, so that's when you basically might have had, even if you go down to this, you probably had $78 spent somewhere in here, so maybe that's, maybe a $10, that's a $5, that's a $7, it doesn't matter, it's random, right? It's random. It's based on what the Facebook algorithm is saying it wants you to do. Now, if I was just to make this more simple, right, it's the same concept. Let's say what Nathan and I have maybe just one ad set, right, which is fair enough. Now, I'm not going to be doing Andromeda right now, I'm probably going to be using one ad set and one campaign, so let's just say that, right? They have one ad set, and then they have loads of ads, right? Loads of ads. So all your ads are going to get pushed into this one ad set. All that spend is now going to be randomly distributed into every ad. Okay? Now what this means is that when you make an ad, maybe you have, let's say, 8 to 12 active, even 5, 7, 8, 9, however many it is, you are randomly distributing the spend. And so let's say you have, 5 ads. Well, let's say 6 actually, because there's more. I'm saying 8 to 12. You got this, right? I bet you with your team, what you'll see in this $200 spend a day, right? It'll probably spend maybe like 50% of your budget in here, maybe 10% of your budget in here, maybe 2% in here, 1% in here, and these are your ads, right? So this one, right, is getting you data. So you're getting data, you're going to be getting data from this ad here, right? Because Facebook says it's doing well, it knows what it's doing. But what I often see, right, is you don't even know if this one could be better performing. You don't know because no spend is going towards it. So you're not even able to test it. Meanwhile, you're spending more and more money on using this, but actually you don't truly know this is the best one because you're not testing others, right? And you don't even know when to kill it because there's no testing framework. So I go through here, and what you'll often see, and I bet you this has happened before, is when you're running these ads, right? Let me just wipe this out quick. Now you're $200 a day, and it's being split randomly because it's a CBO. It's being split across the campaign budget. At CBO, you have no real control of the ad there. What you can do is you're going to see that maybe this ad, right, has a cost per lead, CPL, of $70, right? And this ad 2, has CPL of, let's say, $35. Going to 12%. Now, theoretically, obviously it depends on the conversion on the back end, the execution, but I have seen, even with my own Meta, driving spend between the $70 to the $35 one. Where I've literally, let's say, been spending $200 per day. I've checked my ad account like 4 or 5 days later. $700 has been spent on this one, when I have proven that this one had a $35 CPL. Now what that means is that you can be spending 1.5 times to 2 times more to acquire the amount of customers you're acquiring, simply because you're letting these, randomized promotions of, random distribution of ad spend into ads where you're not even getting to test the other ad creative, and you don't know which ones are truly working best because you're splitting the cost all the time, right? That's problem one. So you're using a CBO, and you're using a CBO, so you're sticking a bunch of creatives in there, and in those creatives are getting random spends, which make it really difficult for you to draw, measurable impact on what's working and what's not, because you're giving complete control to Meta, and when it comes to lead gen, that's really not great. So that is, problem number one. And this kind of problem interlinks. You'll see here, for example, this guy here, I can guarantee you right now, he's got a CBO going, right? He's got a CBO going on. He's got one ad set, and he's literally pummeled all these ads. And look how similar they look. They all look the same, basically, right? Now the reality is, how can you determine what's the most, best performing one? And I guarantee you, there's not equal spend being put across. Probably 2 or 3 of those ads in that whole bunch can be used itself, and then new, distinct, creative variations can be done in the next one. And that takes me into the next thing, which is you are creating ads in different hooks, different body, but not true distinction. With Andromeda, it is really causing a bit of chaos for a lot of people, because what they're doing now is they're creating 8 to 12 different more. They're just creating loads of volume that looks similar and bang it into a campaign in a singular ad set and going, yeah, like I'm creating Andromeda friendly ads. The reality is your ads aren't creatively distinct. You're probably just doing a talking head with like a different angle at a really top level, right? So this guy here, Tyler, I think he's working in HVAC. He's got all these talking head videos, right, in his CBO, and then they all look the same. So he's running the CBO, not controlling it, so that's problem one. Then they're not even creatively distinct. Now, he's got a, right now, let's get this yellow marker. He's holding a bottle here. He's got some sunglasses on here. He's got a piece of paper in his hand here. Like, that's not creative distinction. And then I was like, okay, let me check this copy. And so I've got all this copy here. Now what you see is he pulls out the ICP here. He's doing the same thing at the top, right? But actually, all of his ads, in terms of the copy, across every single one, are the same. Now, this is a massive problem, because not only is he creating a similar talking head, but he's also creating zero distinction in copy. Now what this does, is I'll just use an analogy of fishing, for example. He's going to go fishing. Here's a big pond. And in each of these ponds, right, there's going to be different species of fish. And that fish is equal to subsegments of your ICP. For example, take HVAC. Every HVAC customer is not the same. Different age, different values, different beliefs, different problems, different customer life cycles, so on and so forth, right? Now when you're creating ads, like Tyler here, right? Like this. What you're actually doing, and let's follow this analogy, let's take Tyler. Tyler's got these ads, he's got the same copy, he's going to the market with his ad spend and forcing these into his singular campaign, right? Right now, here's Tyler, right? And he's got his fishing rod. And what he's doing with those similar talking heads and similar copies, not even similar copies, the same copy, is he's cranking out that fishing rod and he is hitting that same fish over and over and over again with the same ad, pretty much. But he's feeling better because he's got a bunch of variations in a CBO, right? The reality is, he's not actually then taking different bait. For example, right here, he needs to go back off and collect different bait, right? So he can put, you can load the bait here. He can go over and get another creative variation and get a different bait here. He can get another creative variation and get a different bait here, so that he can then hit this target, right? He can then hit this target. He can then hit this target, which will exponentially decrease his cost per lead and likely increase his or reduce his customer acquisition cost, because he's hitting different angles and he's hitting a much broader audience, right? And so I'm going to go into a bit about how you do that in a second. So that's another big problem, and I see this all the time, and you're probably doing it as well in your business. The other problem, and again they're all very interlinked, they're very similar, is that you have no accurate testing framework when you're using this. So when you have all these ads running, right, and you're spending money, no one likes to spend money. We work with very rich, crazy wealthy guys and girls sometimes, and the only difference is, while they will be like less emotionally attached to their ad spend, they don't even realize that they're losing money from just having too much money. So they don't realize the inefficiency of their spend by the inaccuracy and the ineffectiveness and the lack of understanding of their creative delivery and their marketing techniques, okay? So what is that framework? Well, when you have a science experiment, what you tend to do, let's say a science experiment, we have control variables, and we have, what's the thing we're changing, what's the thing we're measuring to make sure we understand that when we change this one thing, it's influenced by the change and not the rest of the environment, right? And so we want to try and do that as much as we can within the actual ad itself, right? And so when we run an ad, or when you run a CBO, and you have different volumes of spend going to different things on what is basically the same ad, you're going outside the box where this can impact this, and that's the ad, right? All these external things are impacting the ad, so you don't know really what's going on. And so the best way I find, and we've seen this from a lot of the, consulting with very experienced media buyers, is that you need to set the entire experiment being the same. So you have like you run your ads, you control the ad spend at ad level, and then you create true diversity, right? And so in the rest of this, I'm now going to go into like what that even means and how you actually go about doing it, okay? So right now, you're sitting here, you can go into your ad account, and you can look if they have got a singular campaign in an ad set. So you got the campaign, they got the ad set, and they got tons of creative with CBO. And they all probably look very similar. Maybe it's static, maybe it's video with similar copy. All of which, by the way, most of the time are kind of like just sales. It's always sales and zero value. Like, this whole copy gives me nothing as a business owner where I can go away and get value myself. And the reality is, in a trust-based society where people need to trust you to understand how you deliver something, they need to see you know what you're talking about beyond just just copyright. When you watch me doing this, like, there's no script right now. I'm sharing my skill, my advice, and my knowledge to you, where you're instantly going to trust me more and work with me more than someone who's just writing some salesy stuff on Facebook. The same approach goes for any business that wants to sell a service to a customer or a business. Education is the key to building a relationship to drive conversion without having to sell. So let's go into this, shall we? How would we deliver, if we were to take this guy here, how would we improve what he's doing? And he's an HVAC, right? The first thing, we control the spend with an ABO, not a CBO. And so what I mean by that is to see truly the effect of, let's just say I kept all the creatives the same right now of what he's doing, okay? And I say the campaign, it's back. We're going to draw a campaign, right? And in this campaign, we are going to leave the targeting completely broad, right? Completely broad. And what we're going to do, so broad targeting, i.e. no, none, do no interest targeting, no interest, okay? Why? What we try and control is the creative doing the targeting. So this is creative-led targeting, not interest targeting, right? Now, hence you need more creative variations to drive targeting. Because this, as I said before, with this one, you're only going to hit one area of the ICP, okay? Because again, what a lot of people are doing is they're just going for this fish because they sort of see that HVAC, for example, whether it be med spa, dentist, whatever it is, right? Your customer is just that one, but actually there are many types of this one person called sub-segments of the niche. Different pain points, different buying points, right? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to set a campaign with completely broad targeting, no interest, and we're going to lead it by creative. But if he wants to really control it, is the reason we do this is that when we have an ABO, we have a campaign, right? So it's up here, the campaign. So we're going to set that campaign up. And when the only thing you want to control in the campaign is the objective, right? Which is going to be leads. It's the leads objective. If you are doing geographic targeting, like to a brick and mortar store or wherever, you can just set it to like 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 miles, wherever your location is, and that's just adding on. That's something you can do more for if, again, you've got like brick and mortar or you're trying to get somewhere locally, but you still wouldn't do like interest targeting of that, like geographic's a bit different, okay? And then you're going to create an ad set. One ad set, just one. And in that one ad set, you're going to put one ad. Not two, not three, not four, one. Just one. And then you get another ad. Set 2, ad set 3, ad set 4. Okay? And in each one of these, we have one ad. One ad. One ad. That means you, in each ad set, only one ad. The reason why you do this is that when you go, let's say I went and took this guy's ads right now, and I was to take, let's say, 4 of them. Right, so let's say I go ahead and I take these 4 right here. And I go and stick them into an ABO where one of them goes in here, one of them goes in here, one of them goes in here, one of them goes in here. The targeting is broad, everything's consistent. The only thing that is now differing is not the ad spend, it's not the targeting, it's the creative, right? Now I can guarantee you that most of his ad spend right now is being split very quite randomly. Is if he did this, right, is his KPIs, so his metrics that is being produced by this, so the metrics, the data, right, there will be a win in there. They're not always going to perform the same way. One might have a higher cost per lead, one might have a higher click rate, like there's going to be a bunch of data things there. Where we then set it to a specific runtime, right, and this guy links up to here. These are all kind of linked. So this is the frameworks, right? They're all kind of linked here. So let's bring this around. So we are going to run this for 4 days. Just 4 days. And during these 4 days, after you spend a minimum of $50 ad set, so that's $200 per day for 4 days, which is $800. I mean, if you can't do $200 and you want your $150, do 3 ad sets, but a minimum of $50 per day for 4 days. So that's either going to be $150 or $200 every 4 days. You are going to know for sure which one of them works better. And so as I go up here again, I can guarantee you there's going to be a very minimal difference in performance of these ads, which means he's spending a bunch of money writing an ad where it's like a stagnant, like the ad performance is going to be average the whole time. Whereas what he would be better off doing, instead of using the similar creatives he's using up here, is he goes, right, what I've just seen, right, so let's just reset it, let's do it this way, is he needs to create distinct creative variations. So what I mean by distinct creative variations is instead of all these talking heads, right, is there's a bunch you can do. And the way that I would do this is in 2 levels. One, you go from having a singular ICP, right? So right now most of your marketing is done on like a singular ICP, and you then go from singular ICP to going into sub segment based ICPs. And you're probably wondering, like, what does that even mean? The way that a sub-segment based ICP works is I basically take a singular niche and I break it down even more. So you take this one here, right? This is for HVAC, right? So I just go in here and I move through. You have sub-segment 1, the oblivious sole trader. And this is for targeting HVAC businesses, by the way. Sub-segment 2, the paying activated sole trader. And you see in each one, there's different current states, different desired states, different things that keep them up at night. And there's a bunch of these, right? Sub-segment, where's sub-segment 3? There's sub-segment 3. And so you can see that each of these sub-segments that we're getting here have completely different drives that will convert them. They're at completely different stages of their business. And so the output of the copy and the output of the ad and the whole angle that you create is going to be distinctively different at the creative idea level, right? Not at the creative, but at the fundamental seed that I am planting in the ground right now is going to be different. Whereas right now, when you just have the HVAC seed, the HVAC singular bait, when I bait that out, I'm only going to catch the green fish, right? If I then break it down to different baits and I throw it into the ocean of meta, at the messaging and at the idea root level, I'm instantly going to attract someone that's going to go, oh, I feel that, that's me. Whereas right now, you're talking to one person and one person only in a sea of different people, okay? And so that's one point, that's one massive point, okay? Which is this is the like positioning, the actual ICP, who is your target persona level, right? Then you have your creative, the actual creative, what it looks like. So when you've got the seed, the angle that you're going to, that bait that you're going to whip out, you're preparing it. So you've got the fundamental concept. Before I flick it out into the ocean, I need to package it into a bait, right? Maybe I however I assemble bait together. Maybe it's a video, maybe it's a static, where it is, right? And so from a lot of learning, the one things that we find underperforming are things like we will do this thing or you don't pay, or money back guarantees, or really salesy messaging. Instead, you want to do like a really clear ICP call out. But instead of saying like, if you're a business owner, or if you're if you want to lose fat, this is for you. No. Like, even when I started this video, it's like I use what we call an assumptive hook. An assumptive hook is like, I already assume that the person watching it is, needs that information. So at the start I said, like, you're a business owner, your team are doing X, Y, Z. Maybe they are, right? That's an assumptive hook. I didn't say if you're a business owner making 10K a month, this is for you. Like, it means nothing, right? So you want to do a clear ICP call out. The way you do that, and I'll make a separate video, by the way, on how I use this using AI to have endless amounts of content ideas. But this is just the principles of marketing, right? Is I use AI to understand subsegments of my niche to then, because that's the seed, right? That's the base level of knowledge to then plant that seed to then grow the sprouts, okay? So I then use ICP to create my call outs and my angles. The other thing that's the biggest performing ads right now are what we say like skill sharing, sketchbook. That's literally like similar to Miro, right? I'm drawing on a Miro board right now, but it's more like a diagram. With the skill sharing ads, this is literally what I'm doing now, right? It's like you're showing the prospect and the lead how you deliver your solution, how you know what you're talking about, rather than just like speaking, but like showing them, teaching them, because education is everything, right? And that goes with any business. Rather than just having like a boring sales pitch where you just look like the same in every space when imagine not just your business, but every other business in the same niche as you is using the same bait in the same pond to the same person. So you can imagine when you use a different bait and you use a different package to throw that bait out, you are literally talking and cutting through all the noise. The other ones are your talk over, so overlays. So you can take a talking head. You can take a talking head and literally, like this guy here, right? I'm telling you now. Let's say he had all these going on, and instead of having it all in here, he took 3 of them out, had that one going, and he took that one ad, right? Let me zoom out. He took this one ad, and he put like an iPhone notes with bullet points. And then he's talking here, right? And then he put that in the ad set and ran that for 4 days next to the other one. He is going to see an actual distinctive difference in the creativity. Okay? The other good one, so iPhone Notes is a good one, Sketchbooks is a good one, Skillshare is a good one. It's like, even for example, let's say I have a testimonial. Now usually when you do a testimonial, it's just like a static image. If you take that testimonial as an image, and then you stick you in the corner, talking about it, that is a creative distinction that is going to change your performance. So the whole point here is we're now moving, I'll summarize this again, we're moving from CBO to ABO. We're taking away interest-based targeting. We are controlling one ad set with one ad in it. So we're controlling that, when I have that $200, right? $50 is going in here, $50 is going in here, $50 is going in here, and $50 is going in here. I run it for 4 days, so I know that at the end of that I'm either scaling it or I'm killing it, right? And I'm not wasting all my time running an ad that looks the same, feeling like I'm sorting Andromeda. I'm taking the ICP and I'm changing it from a singular based ICP to a sub-segment based ICP, where instead of having that single tunnel vision of a single fish and a single bait and a single package, like every other business in my area is doing, I'm now going into a sub-segment based level, where I understand that everyone's different, everyone has different pain points, everyone has different needs, everyone has different buying triggers. People that are the same, in terms of the same business or the same prospects, in terms of what they want, the problem they want to solve, are still fundamentally different people, okay? And the next thing is, so then with this, you're going to take the AI, and it means that when you then go and create your angles, you have unlimited amounts of content using your sub-segments of ICP to create, well, not only create, but understand there are multiple fish in the ocean, come prepared with multiple pieces of bait to test them, to then deliver it for a certain amount of time without wasting ad spend, so you know, like, oh, am I going to waste my money? No, because it's for 4 days, right? And then pushing them into actually truly, so you've got the concept level, which is at the sub-segment level, and then not only are you creating a difference in the sub-segment level, but you're creating a difference in the actual packaging of the messaging going into the pond. So not only do you have different bait, but you have different packaging into the bait to serve those different fish, right? And then that goes into, writing each ad for 4 days gives you a measurable outcome, where I'm not going to waste $800. This guy, I guarantee you, is wasting thousands of dollars, because instead of using a completely different concept with a completely different sub-segment of a niche that could half his CPL, he's doing the same thing over and over again with a CBO, okay? If you take those approaches, right, that I just covered, of moving things into a ABO, controlling things at an ad set level, moving down into a sub-segment of a niche, providing those different creative distinctions. So instead of taking talking head and take that concept onto a sketchbook, take it onto an iPhone Notes, do a Skillshare like I'm doing now. This is how you do it. And then to protect that wastage of advertising spend, you're going to hold it for just 4 days to understand what's happened. You learn from that data, and then what you can actually do, and I'll film another video on this, is we have a calculator where you can actually reverse engineer what you can and cannot spend in terms of your maximum to understand where your ROI and where your break-even points are, so you know whether to kill that ad at the end of those 4 days or scale it. If you have any more questions about this, feel free to message me and I'll be more than happy to help. Take care.